interviewing people on television. I've been doing it for 50 years. I know how to do it. And some people think I'm a pretty good interviewer on TV. But I make mistakes. I do. And I want to get into that because it's important. So on CNN, they have one guy that sticks up for Donald Trump. Okay, his name is Scott Jennings. And the rest of the crew, they hate Trump. And they got Jennings on there because they needed somebody just to try to balance. There's no balance at 8-9-1. But Jennings is up against a woman named Tiffany Cross the other day on CNN in prime time. Now, Tiffany Cross, you maybe remember, worked for NBC News, MSNBC. She had her own show. And they fired her because she did a lot of racial stuff and a lot of personal stuff. And I don't like to see anybody get fired. I don't know Tiffany Cross. I don't know whether she's a good or bad person. I just don't know. But she was dismissed. So Cross is going up against Scott Jennings about the Trump policies. Roll the tape.
When they're looking at Greenland and say, I like it, I want to take it for mine, that is a very colonizing.
You have said you are.
I have never ever said we're going to go to Greenland and quote colonize it or steal it.
You're not
crazy.
A member of government, so you're irrelevant at that point. I'm talking about the president of the United States doing that.
You got fired from your job.
You can agitate.
If you want to engage in personal insults,
I don't, but you do.
What you lack in a legitimate point, you make up for in personal insults.
I don't. You do.
Personal insults. The point I am making is in this new world order, we are looking at countries, whether or not they're an adversary or ally, it is being determined on what kind of deal we can get. And we cannot govern, we cannot legislate that way. We are increasingly isolated on the world stage.
No, we're not.
So if you want to engage in personal insults,
we're not
if
isolated.
I were you, I would reserve that for your party.
Okay. So Jennings is wrong to say you were fired from your job because it had nothing to do with the conversation whatsoever. Nothing. You know, I'm looking at the transcript here. And Ms. Cross says, you're not a member of government, so you're irrelevant on that point. I'm talking about the President of the United States. And then Jennings goes, oh, you got fired from your job. Well, talk about, you know, a non sequitur. And once you get into the personal stuff, and it's all over the internet, you guys know that, you lose credibility with me because your argument should be stronger. You don't need to get that personal stuff. Right? Now, I don't agree with Tiffany Cross on anything, and if I ever debate her, I will do it on facts. Trump's not going to seize Greenland. That's ridiculous. He's going to do what he did with Panama. They just made a deal on Wednesday. And I told you they would make the deal. He's not going to take Panama over. He's not going to take Greenland over. He does all this to create chaos so he gets a better deal. How many times do I have to explain that? Tiffany Cross doesn't want to believe it, fine. But all you got to do is just lay out the facts, and she loses the argument. You don't have to say you got fired from your job. It's unnecessary, and Jennings made a mistake. Now, you'd be right to say, hey, you, O'Reilly, you've done that too in your career. You have attacked people personally. And I have. So you may remember October 2nd, 2008, all right, we did an interview with Barney Frank on the Fox News channel. The interview was about the collapse of the American economy. So you'll remember that in the last weeks of the Bush the Younger administration, that the economy wobbled because house mortgage payments were under fire. The government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, was giving mortgages to people who couldn't pay the money back. And not only were they giving them, they were promoting this. The guy who oversaw that in the House was Congressman Barney Frank of Massachusetts. He pushed and pushed for these very risky home loans that came back to kill the banks, and the banks went over the cliff, and that's how Barack Obama beat John McCain, okay, in 2008, 2007. That's what happened. Now, I had Frank on the O'Reilly Factor, and he denied any culpability. Go.
This industry declined 90%. 90%.
Yes,
oh, none of this was your fault. Oh, no. People lost millions of dollars. It wasn't your fault. Come on, you coward. Say the truth.
Coward?
You're a coward. You blame everybody else. You're a coward.
Here's the problem with going on your show. You start ranting, and the only way to respond is almost to look as boorish as you.
Okay, that's legitimate. I was wrong. I should not have done that. But I was so angry about Congressman Frank denying, and he had direct oversight to all of these government mortgage programs. It was him that was promoting these risky loans, and he denied every part of that. No responsibility. I was like this, and you could see it. But I should not have called him a coward. I shouldn't have done it. I didn't lose my temper, but I displayed my temper. And therefore, my point was lost. And his side said, oh, look at that O'Reilly. You know, he's boorish, he's this, he's that. Give me an excuse not to deal with me. So that was a mistake on my part. But I learned from my mistakes. Now, sometimes I get rough. You guys know that. Because I have to get rough. Somebody lies to you because when I'm interviewing somebody, they're talking to you. If they lie to you, I'm calling them out. Sorry. I don't care about ideology. I want people to disagree with me. I get the smartest people I can get to go on and debate me about very important issues. I want that. I'm not offended. And that's disappeared, and you know that. If you watch cable news and network news, it's now everybody agrees, whoever the host is, liberal or conservative, everybody else agrees with that person. So boring. So boring. But getting back to Jennings, I mean, people make mistakes on the air. He made a mistake. I hope he learned from the mistake. I made a mistake with Barney. Now, this is an interesting question. How much remorse did I feel? Not a lot. I got to tell you the truth. It was a mistake. But he was lying to you. So my remorse was tempered because he was not doing the right thing, Congressman Frank. And he's a smart guy. He's not some stupid guy. All right? And so he was trying to deflect. Oh, no, we didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Now, when you interview on television, it is a tightrope you walk. But nobody wants to walk it anymore. All I want is people who agree with them. And that's what you got. It's so boring. So boring. I'm sitting there going, I can't listen to this anymore. I want some robust debate. I want to see who's got the stronger argument, who's got the factual argument. But it's hard to do that. You got to research it. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to remember. Although you could bring notes in. But Tiffany Cross, if she comes up against me on Greenland, I destroy her. Just on facts. Absolutely wipe her off the face of the earth. Oh, this is a new world order. Hey, stop it. If we wanted to take Greenland, we were taking it. Would that take about 20 minutes? So all it is bluster to get a better deal. Everybody knows it except Tiffany Cross because Tiffany doesn't want to know it. And that's how you bring it to her. Say, look, you want to think the worst of Trump. Everything Trump. My opening question to Tiffany Cross would be, has Donald Trump done anything as president for 4 years and now in his first 2 months in office, anything that you approved of, that you like? That's my first question. I'd like to hear the answer to that because I don't think there is anything. And then once you establish where your guest is, then you can go in and put everything into perspective. But you don't say you got fired because she might have been fired unfairly, Tiffany Cross. I don't know. I wasn't her manager. I don't know what they said to her. There was some race stuff that she said that I cringed at, but I don't know whether she should have been fired or not. I don't know what her ratings were. All I know is that there were people, our people on MSNBC is absolutely as bad as she is, as far as their, calling people this and that, because she does that too. But Jennings lost the debate because of that personal attack. Anyway, you want to get to me and give me a comment on it? Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Now for all our social media viewers, name and town. If you want to write to me, all I need is your name and town. You say whatever you want. Okay? I got to tell you, if you use profanity or anything like that, it just gets thrown right in a shredder. I mean, it doesn't get to me. So don't even bother with that. But we need to know you're a real person. All right? Because we know pressure groups do this stuff all the time. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.